on here that xQc apparently, because he was... No, not this. Where is it? I think it's somewhere on here. I can find it. Yeah, xQc clarifies his take for gamers going after Anita Sarkeesian. Okay, so basically he made fun of the people that were review bombing the game. I never actually even watched the clip about this, but, you know, xQc is a few years younger than me, right? So, like, he probably wasn't as locked into, you know, the whole Gamergate stuff in the same way that, like, I was, right? Because I was older, I was, like, involved in internet drama, internet culture, politics stuff on the internet. Like, I was on, like, r/atheism whenever I was a teenager. You know, I was all the way in this, right? And so I just assumed he didn't really know. But, like, anyway, let me listen to this. He didn't even know who she was? Well, I mean, good, right? I mean, it's not working. Okay, that's great. I'm glad it's not working. Amazing. I'm so happy it's broke.
It's not, guys, that was not a great take, I'm gonna be honest with you. And then the chat, I actually feel bad about this take. It's not, guys, that was not a great take, I'm gonna be honest with you. And then the credits.
Yeah.
Chat, I guess I said chat. This was not a great take, I gotta be honest with you.
Hey,
I've just seen the videos of that person.
Months. Is it fine
it's
if I
shite.
get unbanned
For
from
20 hours,
TTS?
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Hey, right.
I don't think you should review bomb a game for it though.
I think that if you can't review bomb a game for it, you can't express your discontent with the game. And also, like, I think that the extent of, like, kind of what he's saying, like, I agree that it's kind of silly in a way, but the problem is that there's no other way that you can express the way that you feel and have it be listened to. So the problem is, like, how else can the player choose to express themselves playing the game? And so, no, I think so. I think it's totally justified. And also, like, this isn't like, for example, like you have a person who is, you know, like basically who played the game or something like that. I mean, she's in the credits of the game, right? I mean, she's directly related to the game.
Enjoyed the game for 30 hours. 30 hours.
That's
50
it?
hours. It's gonna enjoy the game for 100 hours.
Uh-huh.
He has a good
Hold on. Somebody that's associated with feminism is in the credits. I actually
Chat, view bombing actually hurts a game. Like,
That's why they did it. That's the whole purpose is to hurt the game. That's the goal. The goal is to hurt the game, so people that make other games don't want to hire somebody that does that because they don't want their game to be negatively affected. Like, that's the whole point. Like, why would somebody review bomb a game if it didn't matter? Like, I mean, duh, of course. Like, that, yes, exactly. It's to hurt the game.
Really bad. Like, what if nobody knew about this except for, like, one guy at the top, and one guy did this collab with this person, this dumb fuck.
Yeah.
Right? And then we'll put him in the credit, and it hurts everybody for what reason? Like, I think it's just really dumb.
Exactly. That's why they shouldn't have done it. It was a huge mistake to bring somebody like that onto the studio and have them be a consultant. Huge mistake for them to do.
this actually. I played for 100 hours, but it's actually dog shit.
You should give them a lot of pushback.
It's actually
and
dog
you should voice your opinion.
Yes.
Definitely. But review bombing is kind of bullshit.
I don't think so. I think that in a perfect world, so here's the issue, right? Is that in a perfect world, you would be able to give your criticism, and then the developer would listen to it and then improve the game based off of that criticism. But the reality is that Anita Sarkeesian is very clearly a politically charged, very disliked figure inside of media. The people hiring her knew this. It's not like this is a secret or something like that. So whenever you hire a person that is directly attached to an ideology or a cause that, in my opinion, has been awful for video games for years, then yeah, I think you absolutely need to downvote it. You do. And the reason why, too, is so other companies don't do that. The thing is that, the reason why people review bomb is because review bombing works. It does. It massively negatively affects a game. I've heard developers tell me this, right? If you negative review bomb a game, it will hurt that game in the long term. And you know what? That's a good thing. Because at the end of the day, keep this in mind, that every single person who is downvoting this game bought the game. I think that you could make an argument that, for example, people that didn't even play the game shouldn't be downvoting it. Now, I disagree with that too, but I think it's a lot stronger. But at the same time, these are all people who purchased the game. They've made a financial decision about the game, and now they get to exercise their opinion about that financial decision, right? So, didn't you join the negative review party? I don't think I've never really done a review, right? I never have. The Anita cost? Yes, exactly. And so, creating a negative cost and a negative consequence for doing something that goes against the will of gamers is something that's in the best interest of gamers. This is like saying that, for example, it's bad for people to downvote a game because of AI. I think it's stupid for them to do that, but they have every right to do that. They have every right to downvote a game because of AI. They have every right to downvote a game because of the voice actor, the voice actress in the game. They don't like who it is. So people were downvoting Pragmata, saying bad things about Pragmata. And at the end of the day, people have the right to express the way they feel about a product. And a product also, this is important, like, because really at the end of the day, what does AI art really have to do with a video game, right? Like, let's say there's a few banners and a few different posters in Neverness to Everness that have, AI art on them. Does anybody really care about this? Does this really affect the game? No, it doesn't. But for some people, it does, and they want to impose a negative social consequence on games that engage with it. So you need to look at what your goal is. So the goal, and this is the reason why I would disagree with xQc, is that the goal is to make developers afraid of collaborating with people that have taken a basically an aggressive role and an agitative role against the gaming community. So against people that are, like players that have tried to, because Anita Sarkeesian was responsible for misrepresenting, damaging, and I think shifting the way that games were made. Not just her, but I think it was a concerted effort. She was responsible for that. And so the goal should be to impose a negative consequence on developers for making products that collaborate with people that have damaged like our hobby, basically, right? I mean, that's the reason why. And so you have to do that because you can't rely on the media to accurately report on this. I mean, if xQc looked into this, he'd know that the media doesn't accurately report on this at all. So the only option and the only way that we have to express that we don't like this is by mass downvoting a game. And that will hurt it in the Steam algorithm, and also by just saying negative things about it. That is the only thing that we can do. And that's why I think that we should do it. And it's the most effective thing. If she was never credited, would there still be an outrage? No, of course not, because people wouldn't know what happened. Yeah, I mean, obviously not. But the visibility is what matters. And like what people do behind closed doors, like it's the same as like AI art or something. Like I think most people know that games are made with AI art and facts. Yeah, exactly. And so it's about creating an environment where the visibility of this kind of stuff is people are afraid to express it out in public, and I think that's a good start. It's a very good start. So she was one of the people who said everything's racist, everything's sexist. Well, I think that it's mainly everything is sexist for her, but yeah. Review bombing is cringe, it's a great game. Well, then, you know what I think is also cringe is hiring a person who has damaged the environment of gaming. So one cringe deserves another. Right? I mean, I think that seems pretty fair to me. So to me, I'm very much a huge fan of imposing whatever negative social consequence you can. And keep in mind that the people that what would these people say? Because the people that like Anita Sarkeesian and they're like the weird woke people, do you think that they would come up with excuses for why it's okay to, let's say, downvote Lords of the Fallen 2? And because it's like it has like objectification of women, do you think that they would rationalize that? I think the answer is absolutely they would. So ultimately, they would do this. They would do this. And to the extent that you don't do this, there's no world where nobody does this. There's either a world where one side does this and they control you, or both sides do this and they compete for influence. I would rather compete for influence than be controlled. So yes, I think that downvoting is totally justified. I completely agree with it. That's the way I feel. So yes, and that's the way I'll look at it. That's where I'm at. Or things they removed on WoW. Yes, I have to fight fire with fire. Yes, definitely. They use moral superiority to justify their double standards. Exactly. And I have no problem with that, right? Same people that were flaming Pragmata are now cheering for a weird-ass mixtape scene between two miners kissing. Yeah, we're going to try that out, see what it's like. So somebody got hit by an airplane today? Is that right?